Hey there, Ankkita. Let's take a look at this new set of essays you've done. Okay, the first one is the rainfall line chart. It's really helpful if you can include it in your answer so that I can refer to it when I correct. Okay, let's see. The line graph below, well, it's not below actually, the line graph displays the amount of rainfall in millimeters. There's no reason to put that in parentheses, okay? In 3 different countries, England, Scotland, and Wales, in the year 2018. In England, it started. Okay, careful with the it. What does the it refer to? It's a little confusing because someone reading this might assume that the it refers to 2018 or even the line graph. So when you start a new paragraph, it's often helpful if you restate what the noun is. So here it should be, in England, rainfall started just above 110 ml in January and then decreased. Careful with your tenses because here you have past tense and suddenly you have present tense. So, and then decreased steadily until it reached around, get rid of the at, 100 ml in April. A dramatic decline can be seen afterwards. Okay. And it rises. What rises? The decline? Careful again. In July, approximating to 120 ml. Thereafter, the graph shows fluctuation and ends in December at around 120 ml. Okay, it looks like everything is in the present tense except for this first verb. So maybe it's the first verb that you should change. Regardless of what you change, you do have to change something because it's really important that your tenses are consistent. Now, all of this is in the past, so you could have either referred to it all as the present tense. That would have actually been okay. Or you could have referred to it all in the past. But regardless of what you do, you must be consistent. So this could have been, in England, the rainfall starts at just above 110 ml in January. All right, and then it's okay because this, in fact, is how we tell stories sometimes, just using them in the present tense, even though the event is occurring in the past, okay? Okay, so one thing that I liked is that you gave us the beginning of the graph, the end of the graph, and then you gave us a couple of points in the middle. So that was a good way to do that. Let's see what you said about Scotland. In Scotland in January, there's the it again. Okay, don't refer to it as it because there are so many nouns floating around in this essay that we don't know what it refers to. Okay, so in Scotland, rainfall in January was about 120 ml, and a sudden decline can be observed in February with levels around 20 ml. A drastic increase is depicted in March. I would have preferred here reaching just above rather than and was. Reaching would have been better. So reaching just above 130 ml, after which major fluctuations are shown because, again, the it isn't clear. Ending in April at approximately 125 ml. So do you see what I'm using? I'm using some of these participles, these INGs, to link your sentences together a little better and making it more cohesive and clearer at the same time. Okay, so it reduces further. Again, this it is not clear. I don't think you've written the word rainfall anywhere, and so you really should, okay? The rainfall levels reduce even further in November and increase again, comma, stopping just above 100 ml in December. Why did I prefer stopping? Because you have and, so it's not fluid. If you use one of these participles, one of these INGs the way I just did, if you want to look them up grammatically, they're called participle clauses. Check them out. It's a good thing to do because it links your sentences together better rather than using and it also shows some advanced level grammar. Okay, so you're basically killing two birds with one stone, advanced grammar and better cohesion at the same time. Okay, there's it again. Levels start around 50 ml in Wales. When? You don't tell me. Increasing constantly until April, where a sudden decrease can be seen and levels reach, here you need no ES, around 30 ml. I don't know what happened here. It should probably be a full stop, no? The graph fluctuates, not the graph, but the actual trajectory, I guess. The figures fluctuate. That's a better word. You haven't used figures at all, and it's an important word to use. It's a nice catch-all rather than saying rainfall, 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 or this inappropriate it. You could say figures, which is a great word to use to avoid repetition, and it's good for both percentages and actual numbers. So the figures fluctuated until they reached constant levels. You can't say a constant levels. Okay, so it's either one constant level or multiple constant levels. In August, at approximately, not ing, 40 ml. Thereafter, it fluctuates again and stops in December around 60. Okay, fine. Overall, the maximum rainfall occurred in England in June, for Scotland in March, comma, and in Wales it is in July. You didn't have to put that last comma, actually. You could, but you don't have to. The minimum amount of rainfall is seen in June, February, and April in England, Scotland, and Wales, respectively. Okay, it's a little detailed for an overview. It's a little too detailed. If you wanted to give a more appropriate overview here, you could have said something like overall rainfall fluctuated in all three countries considerably, yet England had the stablest rainfall of the three countries. That would be an appropriate trend to kind of highlight, okay? Okay, so you had some nice elements to your task 1. There were some things I liked, but then of course there are some things that you have to work on a little bit, okay? I think it was pretty clear about what those areas are. So I've decided to go straight to your task 2, okay? So this one is about getting married and having children in your 30s. So let's see what you said about that. Late or early pregnancy has been a topic of debate since long. Well, no, so you can't say since long. You could say for a long time. That would be appropriate. Since, you have to use a point in time. So since 1980, since the 50s, or you have to use a particular point in time. But what you could say is for a long time, and that would be appropriate. These days, people initiate parenting in their 30s as they are busy in completing their education or embarking on a new career. I think you mean career, but it's spelled wrong. In my opinion, the disadvantages of this trend outweigh the advantages. Because you can't start a sentence with because, you should just attach it to the previous sentence. Or you could have said, this is because late pregnancy can cause negative implications to both fetus and mother. In this essay, I shall discuss the aforementioned points and underpin my thoughts with relevant examples from Oxford and University of Toronto. Okay, fine. Okay, now there's one concern that I have here. In this paragraph, you've only mentioned becoming a parent in your 30s. You never mentioned anything about getting married. Look, the essay asks you to discuss both. So if I were looking at this, I would kind of have my antenna up because I would be concerned that you're only talking about half of the essay here, okay? So make sure that even in your introduction, you are addressing all parts of the task. All right, so let's see. There is ample evidence that pregnancy in later ages negatively affects a woman. This is mainly because of hormonal changes that a female undergoes, ES, due to an advancing age. For example, no, you can't say a research, you say recent empirical research at Oxford described that thyroxine hormone reduces drastically in, not reduces, it decreases drastically in females if they get pregnant in late 30s. Careful with your typing. And as a result, they suffer from hyperthyroidism. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that late pregnancies are harmful for women. Besides this, pregnancy of later ages is detrimental to a baby as well, because it can lead, careful no S, to the development of various syndromes. For instance, lowercase I, research, get rid of A, carried on pregnant females in the University of Toronto. No, that's not what you mean. You mean research carried out from the University of Toronto on pregnant females showed that there are higher chances of developing Down syndrome, capital D, in children if a mother becomes pregnant after her 20s. Thus, it's possible to state beyond a doubt the pregnancies of 30s in one's 30s can have deleterious effects on the life of a fetus. From the arguments and examples presented above, it is clear that pregnancies of later ages incur various side effects, and therefore for the health of a mother or child, this should be planned accordingly. Okay, so this basically goes back to my initial concern in your introduction. You did not talk about getting married at all, so this would really cause your essay score to suffer for task achievement. You've only really answered half of the essay. It said get married and give birth. You've only covered the giving birth part. So you really need to pay attention to the question. Make sure you're answering all parts of the question, all parts of the task. Pay attention to these ands 100%, because they're basically telling you how they expect you to answer your essay. All right? Go ahead and correct these, Ankkita. Add to your error correction list, and I'll be waiting for your next set. All righty? Good luck.